Well, good day, everyone. Welcome back to WTF Walk the Floors. I'm Stephanie Ledger with First Rate Hospitality, and I'm here with my co-host, Michèle Kline of Kline Hospitality. How are you, Michèle?
I'm doing fantastic, Stephanie. I'm so excited for today because we have one of my favorite topics ever, which is
our pet peeves. So
yes.
Going to be taking this episode, we're going to do a little differently of a rapid fire of our pet peeves in various departments, and then talking about why they are our pet peeves and some stories that we have go along with that. So we'll start it off in this episode with me, and then we'll follow up with another episode dedicated to all of Michèle's pet peeves. Well, Michèle, this is the first time that we've done this, but you are on mute.
Fantastic. I pushed the button twice. So here's the thing. We should know by now, right? Like after a year and a half.
But that was our first one.
Anyway, here's the thing. We have so many pet peeves, each one of us, that we had to split it into 2 different episodes because we have so much to say. So we are going to discuss, like Stephanie just mentioned, 5 different departments. The first department is, Stephanie, what is your biggest pet peeve in housekeeping?
In housekeeping, it is the housekeeping carts. Here I am getting ready to walk into my room, not even waiting to see what the room looks like, but I'm in the hallway and I already seen what the housekeeping carts look like. And if I already am seeing that, imagine what the room is going to look like. Isn't that right?
I love it. My favorite thing to see from housekeeping carts is when they don't have a way to tie things to their carts. So then they use liners, trash liners.
Yes.
So what happens next? When the item that was hanging from the cart, whether it was a trash liner with linen inside or other guest amenities in it or whatever, maybe sometimes, and I've seen this, like the vacuum is being held by a rolled up look-alike of trash liners. Yeah. So when all of this is gone, they don't need it anymore, whatever the case may be, instead of untying it, they just rip it. So now you have all these little knots of old trash liners hanging from the cart, like if it was a carnival type of cart.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. And then you're seeing the toilet brush exposed, the dirty rat. Like there's a place, the housekeeping cart has been designed to making sure that everything has a place. And then the room attendant, doesn't want to go to the storage closet after, so many rooms. So then at the same time, then they pile the towels so far up that as soon as they move that cart 2 feet, it's already falling over. Or for safety, the room attendant can't even see where they're moving their cart to. And the other little tidbit, this is what I look forward to when I'm looking at the housekeeping carts, that if they are a property that has glassware in their room, say by the sink, and you don't see that they have a fresh rack on their
that's so painful. What you're about to say is so painful.
You wonder where those glasses are now being cleaned. So that is my one thing too that I look when I'm looking at those housekeeping carts.
And then when you approach your team members, like either the GRA or a houseman, and you're like, so Can you walk me through the process of how you wash your glasses? They're like looking at you like you have five heads, and you're
Yes,
like, oh no, there is no process.
yes, yeah. Oh man. And then, there's if OSHA was to come and ask them, oh no, we don't know what would happen.
Terrible. So we can talk about cards forever,
Oh yeah.
right? Because there's such a beautiful area of opportunity. But how about you tell me, Stephanie, and share with our audience, what is your pet peeve when it comes to engineering or
Oh,
maintenance?
good old property maintenance. So with that one, I would have to say is with the AC dust in the AC unit, the AC filter is not being changed, and especially if your property's vent is designed where you can see the inside of that AC duct unit, and you can just see how gray and dust it's there is just unbelievable. And now you're looking around and you're starting to notice all of the dust that's around the room. And you know what's going to happen when you're now putting the AC on, because you may be in somewhere that's a hot climate, like, say, Florida or Vegas or California. And I rather sweat than put the AC vent on.
Then sneeze that you'd rather sweat all night than sneeze all night.
Yes.
That's wonderful. I was at a property a few days ago, and gaming floors are very, very big. And usually the ceiling is kind of like tiles, but you actually see what's beyond it, right? It's not
Mhm.
like a solid ceiling. And it obviously collects a lot of dust. Plus, we're in an area where, the southwest of the country is very dry.
Mhm.
And I looked up and I was like, oh my gosh, what is that? Like filled with
Ah,
dust bunnies, like covered in dust bunnies. So initially, my first reaction is, oh, I wonder which, I looked to the side, and there was this little piece that was clean. And I'm like, oh, I wonder which way they're going or coming from, right?
yeah,
Thinking they started cleaning already, and kind of like that's where they stopped. That's why
yeah.
it looks dirty after that. And then you trace it back and you realize, no, they were probably either changing a light bulb or changing something on the air duct, or whatever the case may have been, right? Like fixing a wire, because it's all exposed.
Yeah.
And it stops right there. It's not like you see this trend where, okay, they have one or two nights already where you can tell that they had two shifts, and
Mhm.
they have maybe like five more shifts to go, or whatever the case may be. All that dust collecting there, that is
Yeah.
crazy.
But this is something that it goes to making sure that there's planning, part of your preventative maintenance. There is no reason a guest should be seeing this thick amount of dust, whether it be in the ceiling, in the air vents, high dusting on the hallways. There should always making sure that there's a schedule that's appropriately scheduled out to making sure that those points are being touched on dusting.
Absolutely, especially because your equipment lasts longer
Yes,
if you keep it
it,
clear. All right, so
exactly.
our next department is the front office. What is your
Oh,
biggest pet peeve in the front office? So you get
biggest.
to choose front desk, concierge, valet, bell, you name it.
Well, I definitely would have to say with the front desk is when they are typing on the computer, and then it's just this awkward silence. And now the phone rings and you're now having a staring contest with the agent and the guest of like, are you going to answer it or are you just going to let it ring? And you're not even saying anything, not even being like, oh, let me maybe if I talk above the ring, then maybe the guests won't hear it, or let me distract them from the phone ringing, or what? Let me just say, I do apologize. Allow me just to answer this one moment, and then put the guest that keeps ringing on hold. But that whole interaction when that's going on, I make a game out of it and being like, okay, I'm not going to say anything, even though I like to engage in conversation. But now just being like, I'm going to play the silent game and just make it more awkward.
Let's see who breaks first.
Yes, exactly. And it's the eye contact and like not saying anything, and it just makes it all different. Or even like the same thing too with the concierge. They're just expecting you to kind of shoot out already what you're looking for, the type of dinner, where you want to go, and then you're like, dude, I've never been to this city or this area. You're the concierge. You're supposed to tell me what you recommend. So definitely in those awkward communication of it's just awkward.
All right, lovely share. What about your biggest pet peeve in food and beverage?
Oh, good old food and beverage. So I'd have to say with food and beverage is the menu knowledge. And this is, I would have to say, probably of the ones that we've been reviewing, pretty much number two, if not number one of my pet peeve is when you're asking the server, oh, how's the salmon or how's the dish? Just any kind of menu item. And the server's response is, oh, it's good. Oh, it's great. And then that's it. And you're like, but why? Why is it good? Why is
How
it
is it served?
Yes. What is it served, with? And then when you ask them that, and then they just read literally right off of the menu behind your shoulder. And I'm like, okay, I can read what it says. I'm asking you for further detail, but the menu knowledge and just saying, oh, it's good. Or always when you're asking, oh, well, what do you recommend? And then they say the most expensive thing on the
So
menu.
obvious.
Yeah, exactly.
Or when they say, oh, a lot of people order this. Well,
Yeah,
but have you tasted it? Not really.
yeah,
So if a lot of people are ordering this, why don't you just taste it so then you can recommend it as the most popular dish?
yes, yeah.
So
And
many areas of opportunity.
absolutely. And look, you may be allergic to shellfish, and the guest is asking you about lobster. You may have an allergy or, dietary restriction. It's okay in this situation to fudge. Fudge your answer, be a little bit elaborate. Ask your colleagues that have tasted it, how would you recommend the lobster? How would you say something, for the potatoes if you're gluten free? And then using their verbiage as your verbiage. So instead of just telling the guest, oh, I don't know, I haven't tasted it.
Great
I
tip.
want to making sure I save the marine life.
Great tip. So what about lastly, let's
Yeah.
pick let's say reservation. How do you
Yeah.
feel about reservation?
So reservation, with this one is with the paper trail. We're in the year 2022, and I don't understand why hotels are still making guests show a printed copy of their voucher or their reservation, or while even the front desk agents have to take on credit card authorizations, even though that's not PCI compliance with taking on the paper credit card authorizations anymore. But like things like that, I just feel that there's a way that we could be able to help the staff instead of doing all of this paperwork trail for reservations.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
And how many times does your system go down and your team members don't know how to deal with it because
Yeah.
there's no protocol in place, for example?
Yeah. Absolutely. Being like, oh, well, sorry, can't
Sorry.
ship you in.
This is great. Thank you so much, Stephanie. If you were to say, I don't know, what is your biggest pet peeve overall? What would that be?
Well, definitely the menu knowledge, but I guess that just goes overall with product knowledge. Is that you should be able to, not saying that you need to know everything A to Z of the hotel, but you should know the basics in your department and being able to have that confidence to letting the guests know instead of just making stuff up.
Well, great. Thank you so much for sharing your pet peeves. I know we can sit here and talk forever.
Oh, yeah.
This was a really good one. Now you have given everyone the secrets.
Yes.
You've given everyone the answers to the test.
Yeah. Yes, I was that one in school. Here, don't worry. I had it first period. I'll tell you what the test is when you go in there, third period.
That's awesome. All right, everyone out there, viewers, listeners, we're happy you're on the other side. Let us know if there's anything in particular you want us to discuss. Otherwise, we're happy to be here enlightening you one more time with our WTF, walk the floors type of moments.
Wonderful. Thanks, Michelle.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.
Bye, everyone.